All right, welcome. My name is Bob Neubauer. I'm the Workforce Development Supervisor here at Miamisburg High School. We are starting our first podcast that is going to be talking about not only the workforce, but career pathways and career exploration. We have several guests planned throughout the year this year, but the first guest, and I'm happy to introduce Mr. Black. He is our building principal here and has been a longtime member of the Miamisburg School District. Mr. Black, welcome. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about kind of your pathway to becoming the high school principal.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Neubauer. I'm so excited to be your first guest. Hopefully, won't be your last after today, but really, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. And
Absolutely.
I think it's a great topic, and if we could shed some light on things, help our all of our students, but mainly our seniors, I think that's really worth it. So, thank you. What kind of brought me to this position? I kind of go back to my childhood a little bit, and won't talk too long about it. But really, man, I wanted to be a mechanic when I was a kid. I saw my grandpa and my uncle work on cars, and they could take something that was broken and then fix it, get it working, kind of that problem-solving type mentality. And I always thought that was so cool. Fast forward to today, now I can only change my oil in my tire. I mean, I'm not a mechanic by any means, but it kind of all goes together here. As I was in high school, I kind of researching careers and doing my thing. And man, I saw, hey, design golf courses. How cool would that be? Of course, then you see the salary with it. I was like, man, you can make a lot of money designing golf. But, I look at that and I'm like, okay, mechanic, designing golf courses, it kind of all goes together. I mean, you think about designing a golf course, you're going from building something from scratch. And obviously, I never got around to designing golf courses. But when I went into college, I majored in computer science. I just didn't feel like I was in it for about maybe a semester. I just didn't feel like that was something that was going to be for me. But at the same time, I had an opportunity to go help with 7th grade boys basketball team at my alma mater at the time. And I loved it. I got a chance to work with the young people, and I love the coaching aspect, taking a team of boys, trying to go from point A to point B to get them to develop and improve throughout the season. I had such a good time with that. And honestly, it changed the course of my life. I went in from computer science to I changed to my major to education, and really I didn't look back from there. I got into the teaching field and even the coaching field, and I think all that goes hand in hand. I really enjoyed it tremendously, and you think about leading a group of people, whether it be young people or adults. I really enjoy that, taking a team and helping them to grow, helping them to improve, and really to solve problems, to make things better. So that really led me into the administration field and ultimately to the leadership field.
That's great. Yeah, it's interesting because I actually started college to be a wildlife police officer and got hurt when I was in college. That introduced me to an athletic trainer where I did some rehab, and that trainer had kind of convinced me to look into sports medicine, athletic training. And as I started down that pathway, I realized that education and athletic trainer would be a good mix. And once I kind of stepped into a classroom experience while I was in college, I fell in love with being around students and completely went a different pathway. So it's interesting, you think you have an idea of what you want to do, but then something completely unrelated kind of presents itself. And once you start getting into that, you realize that's what you were supposed to do. So that's great.
Yeah, it's kind of neat to look back and see things that's kind of connected in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of seniors kind of preparing. That's one of the things that I do is kind of help them walk through what is the next step to move on to their after MHS life. What would you say, what advice would you want to give to all of our seniors as they are kind of going through their senior year, not only just to enjoy it and to finish strong, but what kind of advice would you have for them to help prepare them for the next steps?
I guess my advice would center around two really important concepts: lead yourself and have a strong work ethic.
Good.
I think if you take those two components into any career, you're going to be successful. I think it's just real important. When you're leading yourself, you're constantly learning, continually trying to grow, whether it's through reading, listening to podcasts, talking to mentors, just really learning about yourself and making you yourself the best that you can be. I think is extremely important. I think we can get better every day, and the old 1% rule John Gordon talks about. Get 1% better every day. I think that's tremendously important. The second thing there is the work ethic. Can't think of any field or career where you don't need a strong work ethic. So, and if you could lead yourself and go into whatever that profession is going to look like for you, work hard at it, give it your all. No matter what, I think you'll be successful.
It's interesting you specifically mentioned work ethic. I talk to a lot of business leaders in the area, and that is the one thing they always come back to. We want people to show up and be willing to learn and work, and they'll take care of the rest, whether it's training or helping pay for schooling or, just helping people get to that next step in the jobs. They just need people to show up and take some ownership and just be willing to work, and they can, really, and I think that applies to so many different fields, like you said.
Yeah,
That's
well,
great.
I've even heard coaches even say, if you're going to do it wrong, work hard while you're doing it. Go
Yeah,
fast,
yeah,
go strong, go as hard as you can. If you mess up, at least you're giving it your all.
absolutely.
And chances are, if you're giving it your all, it's probably going to kind of cancel out that mistake anyway.
Yeah,
You think about that on the football field. I mean, maybe you go get a wrong angle, but maybe you're going as hard as you can. It's probably going to still work out in your favor. So I think it does translate to a lot of different areas.
absolutely. I agree. So I've heard you share with several students. I'd love for you to share here is, can you explain to me the 3 E's and what that means to you and why you want to share that with our students?
Yeah, great question. We feel like all the options that our students have after they leave high school kind of fit into these three categories. The 3 E's are enroll, enlist, and employment. And what we mean by that is enroll. That what we're looking there is like post-secondary options, things that student might want to go and maybe study at a college or a community college or get some type of technical certification,
Trade school or adult
trade school,
program,
something
yeah.
like that after college or after high school. And that could be a 2-year program, could be 4-year. Could be getting into your doctorate. But enroll is definitely one of those options that we think it's a great option for students. But it's not for everybody. We realize that. So the other E there is the enlist. What we're talking about there is enlisting into the Army, one of the branches of the military that you might want to be a part of, and that can lead to a great career. Third one there is employment. So if you don't feel like I really don't want to go to college or some post-secondary option, or I don't want to enlist into the military, I'm just going to go get a job. That's great. That's fine. It's a good option for you. But we just want you to kind of think through that and pick a career, pick a job that you can advance in and that you can continue to grow and learn. And, we don't want you to stay at the same position for the next 30 years. We want you to really be able to grow within that business and maybe grow in your leadership and get to a point where maybe you're leading others and maybe growing into some type of management role or something along those lines. But yeah, I think all options kind of fit into those three categories. We talk a lot about one of our core beliefs here is, everyone has a unique journey. And we truly believe that, like every student has their own path. And we want them to kind of set course on their own path and make sure that they are building the life that they want for themselves. And whatever that may look like, it's going to be different for everybody. But within all three of those categories, and you can have a great career in any one
Absolutely.
of those three. So
Yeah,
we
I
just want
agree.
them to pursue that with passion and to go after it.
So to kind of take that one step further, I try to remind the students that I'm working with those 3 E's as well. But then here's what you could do now while you're a senior or even a junior for that matter is, start exploring what that enrollment would look like. Go take a college visit, go to Sinclair, go do a tour of a trade school and find out really what it's going to mean for you to go there and invest money into your future at those locations. The second part of that is when you talk about enlist, talk to the recruiters. What I try to recommend when students are looking at the military is um, don't just look for any job that's open right now. Look for a job that you think might transition once you're out of the military. Because some people may make military their career, and that's great. But if you are a tank driver, that doesn't necessarily apply to everyday world life as a
That'd be
civilian.
cool though if it did.
It would be.
Yeah,
It would be.
I'd
I
love
wouldn't
to
mind
drive a
taking a
tank.
tank to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's so many technical jobs within the military too, where you can get some amazing training and experience, and that just transitions right into, the real world civilian life. And then the final component of that is the employment. I hear from a lot of students, well, I'll just stay at the part-time job I'm at now and I'll just get more hours, which is not a bad option, but there are so many jobs out there right now that you can, um, what we call work to school. So basically you can get hired right out of high school with a diploma. They will train you. They will do all of the on-site training. And oftentimes they will pay for your college to go back and get whether it's a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree. Even most of the companies locally have tuition reimbursement. So as long as you're maintaining certain grades and doing what you need to on the job, there are opportunities for you to really get your schooling paid for, and it's also a chance for you to really try and see if that's the industry you want to be in. Is you're getting paid pretty decent money in a lot of cases with good benefits, and if it's something you want to stick with, then they'll find a way to help you advance in your career, which is a
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
opportunity.
those are great points. We talk to our seniors every year and
Yeah.
we get information from them. And gosh, at first everybody seems like they're going to college. I mean, we're getting 85% saying, yeah, I'm going to college. I'm going to college. And, we all know that that's not true.
Right.
It's really about 60% actually enroll that fall semester. So when we talk about it's your unique journey, it's your path, that's what we're mentioning. Like, really think about it for yourself. Don't worry about what your peers are doing. Like, they might be going down this path, but maybe that's not for you. And that's totally fine. You might want to be a mechanic. You might be great with your hands and you really enjoy working with cars, and that's the path you want to go, but your friends are going to college. That's fine. They can go to college, but there's some training, there's some opportunities for you out there. Um, so that's what we're really talking about there
Right.
is, yeah, pick something that you're going to enjoy and that, like you said, we don't want it to be a part-time job forever.
Right.
It's got to be something that will help you to build the life that you really want to live.
Absolutely. And I think, for a long time, education as a whole was saying, oh, you have to go to a 4-year college. And I think over the last several years, we've tried to break that mold and let people know there's a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
And no one pathway is better than another, but has to make sense for you. And, if you're really, we have a lot of people that get into a career that they're unsure of what it is until they really gain that first bit of experience. And to go to school for 4 years and find out then you don't really like the field you're getting into. You mentioned about 60% of our graduates enroll in college. Only about 40% of those actually graduate with a degree and go into the field that they went to college for. So if you can gain some experience with an entry level job somewhere and determine whether or not you really like it, then take that next step and go off to college and finish up or take that next step in whatever training is. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
great.
Yeah.
Great. So one of the things that we talk to students about is often it's figuring out what they want to do. They're still exploring. I changed my mind multiple times over my life, even as an adult. I went different pathways. Um, I'm curious is what is it about your job that you find is the favorite thing? What makes you want to get up and come to work every day and why?
Yeah, great question. Um, my why would just be able to really create an environment where people are pursuing growth or are pursuing a kind of a joy for their job, and we're you know I hope we're able to create an environment here where people know that, yeah, we're always going to have problems and challenges, but we're able to work together to solve those. I just love leading, kind of going back to that coaching example. I love leading a team of people, whether it be young people or adults, through problem solving.
Great, great. So every job has a least favorite thing. What
It
would
sure
yours
does.
be?
Yes.
Mine is paperwork. I'm just
Yeah,
going to
right there
throw
with
that
you,
out
man.
there.
I want to, the things that don't really have an impact on teaching and learning, I don't like it. So it's, you're looking at the paperwork, you're looking at things that maybe are required, whether it be, by the state or, just some regulations that are in place. Yeah, all that stuff. It takes time. It's tedious. It's not really enjoyable. That's stuff that doesn't make you get, want to come to work. But, you know, every job has that. Every
Right,
single
right.
job has it. But yeah, if it's not focused on students and helping them to just to get better, that stuff's kind of draining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think every job has something
Sure.
like
Oh, yeah.
that in that. And it's, we get into a career because we're interested in something, but there's always going to be a negative component to that. So you got to find a way to manage that and, complete what you need to complete, but still be invested in the passionate part of your job.
Yeah, and
Good.
you said it there. Keep your why, and
Yeah.
keep that out in front of you and your purpose for wanting to be in that position and that career. 'Cause I think if you focus on the purpose and the why and the reason you're there, all the other stuff kind of takes care of itself.
Great. And so down the last couple questions here, if you were to be in any other career right now, what do you think it would be?
That's a great question. I see myself doing a lot of different things. I'd probably have to. I'd probably own my own business of some type, maybe home remodeling or
Gotcha.
HVAC company,
Okay.
something like that. I could also be a officer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great question. I have a lot of different things I think I would be interested in.
And I think one of the reasons I wanted to ask that question is there isn't just one thing for everybody. There are other options out
Oh
there.
yeah,
So if you get yourself down a path and you're in a career, it's not lost if you don't enjoy it the way you thought you would enjoy it. It's the work ethic, the experience of dealing with people, the learning, that's all going to transfer to something else if you decide to make a, midlife career change or something along those. So
yeah. Unless you major in basket weaving or something,
there
then
you go. That's a great
you
point.
might have a tough time finding a job outside of basket weaving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, knowing what you know now, what would be what do you wish you would have known as a senior in high school?
About a million things, but I'm going to focus on one here. Um, you think coming out of high school you have to have life figured out, and you don't. Life is going to throw you some curveballs. You're going to get some bumps and bruises along the way. Going to be challenges set up, but you really don't have to have it all figured out. It really comes back to bettering yourself, making sure you're working hard at whatever that is, and all those challenges, you just kind of push through, get knocked down every once in a while, but just keep pushing through, learn from it, keep moving forward. So that'd be my advice, or at least something I'd tell our seniors. Like, it's okay if you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing in 5 years. That's totally fine. Um, don't have to have it all figured out yet. You'll figure it out once you start working through this thing we call life after.
That's great advice. And I know we already have some future guests kind of lined up, which I'm excited about because they're local people who are going to talk about their pathway from Miamisburg High School to how they landed where they landed. And I think you're going to see a common theme throughout this podcast that people thought they were going one way and ended up another, and it's good to see just that people make some changes and where they end up and how they get. But we'll definitely have some local business leaders on. We have a board member who wants to come on and share that his pathway and how he got to where he is now, and some graduates. So I'm excited to kind of step into this. Just to kind of to end the podcast. We are here for the student. So whether you're a freshman or whether you are a senior getting ready to finish up, we're here to answer your questions and try to direct you into the next step plan. But like Mr. Black said, you don't have to have it all figured out when you walk out the doors. just have to be moving in the right direction. So thank you very much, Mr. Black, for joining us today. And thank you to the Media Arts students and Mr. Freeze for getting this podcast up and rolling.
Yeah, very
Appreciate it.
good. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.